Welcome to LA Press Box, everybody. We're glad you're with us as we get set for game two of this three-game series between Los Angeles and Chicago. From historic Wrigley Field, the Dodgers and the Cubs face off, with the Dodgers trying to stop a four-game skid. We'll talk about that in a minute. But whether you're blacked out away from a television, listening while you're on the road, or just simply looking for a deeper way to follow Dodgers baseball, as well as Cubs baseball, for those of you that have difficulty hitting that moving target when your team's at home, that's one of the reasons we started this channel. LA Press Box is your live companion through all of it, and throughout today's broadcast, our live command center is going to keep you updated with all kinds of stats and lineups. And we have an exciting one for you today. You can already see a preview over my shoulder. The Cubs took yesterday's opener 10-5, overcoming an early 3-run Dodgers lead with 4 home runs and extending LA's losing streak to 4 games. It was quite the exciting start. The first 3 hitters swung early, and it was an explosive start, but the Dodgers were not able to maintain that momentum throughout the game, and mainly because of their starting pitching, which has really struggled lately. Excuse me. The Dodgers are turning to newly acquired ace Tarik Skubal for tonight's highly anticipated Los Angeles debut, and it couldn't come at a better time because of that. Over the last 10 games, the Dodgers are 4-6, and they won 4 out of 5 games against the Mets and the Mariners before dropping the Mariners opener, and then all 3 games against Boston at home, and then yesterday's game against the Cubs. As far as recent trends go, the Dodgers have lost those 4 consecutive games, matching their longest losing streak of the season. So that's why I changed my shirt up tonight. Try to get some new mojo, but the most important thing is, of course, we've got a new pitcher, so that's great. The offense is still creating base runners, and they're producing pretty hard contact, but opportunities haven't really consistently brought home a lot of runs. And the Dodgers' average, I haven't looked at that recently, needs to be more than 5 on a regular basis for them to snap this losing streak that they're in right now. The short starts, really, by the starting pitchers has really been the most hurtful thing, forcing the bullpen to cover more innings, really, than they should have to. And so I give the middle relievers a lot of grief, but right now, the bone I have to pick is with the starting pitching. But once again, we have Tarik Skubal, who's won the award for the best pitcher in all of baseball each of the last 2 seasons, and that's called the Cy Young Award. So if you're not that familiar with baseball, there's that. And of course, it's creating a lot of talk in baseball about how the Dodgers have been able to acquire talent and what they've been able to do to maintain their position atop baseball. Although they are, I think it's a half game behind the Milwaukee Brewers for the best record in baseball. Don't look now, but the Arizona Diamondbacks are now only in single digits behind the Dodgers in the National League West. They're 9 games back for first place. But the Dodgers have done, generally speaking, enough on offense. Where they really have to get shored up is on defense, particularly the starting pitching. So I don't want to belabor that point. I do want to talk a little bit about the Chicago Cubs, though, because the Dodgers, in facing the Cubs, just like with the Red Sox, are facing one of baseball's hottest teams. Although they're 6-4 over their last 10 games, they've really mixed some explosive offensive performances in, and you'll see that in the rankings here shortly. As far as how the lineup looks tonight, we'll start with the left side of the ledger. And of course, Tarik Skubal gets his first start for the Dodgers, and this is coming less than a week after he was traded primarily for minor league prospects and acquired from the Detroit Tigers. He's got a win-loss record, as you can see there, of 7-5, and his 7 wins ranks him in the top 50 in baseball. But of course, it's a total team effort when it comes to wins, and so that's only one indicator. He does have a strong ERA, as you can see, 2.79. His WHIP is outstanding at 0.91, and he, from all reports, is also a leader in the clubhouse, not just a leader by example on the mound. So hopefully he raises the level of competitiveness throughout the Dodgers organization, especially the pitching staff. You can see the defense behind him, but most notably, a new catcher, Rorkvet. And I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The Dodgers just traded for him right before the trade deadline because they are really thin at catcher. Right now, Dalton Rushing has an injury. He's got inflammation in his throwing elbow. And of course, Will Smith's been out for a long period of time. And at the earliest, he would be able to rejoin the Dodgers is a few weeks. So they had to do something about that. I haven't been able to see reports about whether Alfonso's still on the staff, but hopefully we'll hear about that at some point tonight. We have Freddie Freeman at first, Tommy Edman at second, Mookie Betts at third, Max Muncy back in the lineup at third base as Kike Hernandez takes his turn to take some time off, even though he just recently rejoined the Dodgers. I would not be surprised, though, if Kike makes some kind of a pinch appearance tonight. That's one of the things that he does as well, if not better than anybody on the Dodgers. He's right up there with Miguel Rojas. Teoscar Hernandez has been on a little bit of a roll lately, which is awesome. He hit one home run that completely left the stadium last night. He starts in left field, Andy Pages in center field, and then Kyle Tucker in right. They are facing, just below that, as you can see, a really strong offense. In some cases, neck and neck in some of these offensive categories with the Dodgers. And one of the headliners for that, as you can see highlighted in yellow, because this is the way we've built the command center at LA Press Box, is Pete Crow Armstrong leading off the lineup in center field in the top 20 in most batting categories in baseball. Then Suzuki in right field, who hit a home run last night, one of 4 that was hit against the Dodgers, and hit off of Justin Robleski, who now has 2 starts in a row where he's really struggled. And the way he's struggled mostly is by giving up the long ball. He's followed by Bregman in the DH position. Then the cleanup is first base. Bush, 5th spot is Horner at second. Taylor in left field. Swanson at shortstop. Pedro Ramirez at third base. And then Amaya, the catcher. So Tarek Skubal's Dodgers debut is going to really rely on being able to be aggressive early, and of course the Dodgers being normally what they are, which is one of the best defensive teams in baseball without any errors in behind him. On the other side of the ledger, you have Javier Assad, who's 6-1 this year. His ERA is 3.75 with a WHIP of 1.16. He's got 48 strikeouts with 18 walks. And we already mentioned and went through the lineup of who is backing him on defense, and you can see them in the diamond there. As far as the Dodgers offense facing that defense, as usual, they are pretty much top 10, if not top 5 in every batting category. But they have a good match on the other side of the coin in the Chicago Cubs, especially because right now they're hot. Shohei Ohtani has not been projected to rejoin the pitching staff, but he continues to do a solid job at the plate. And so, once again, he is the DH leading off this game. And other than RBIs, which is still a respectable number, 67, he's in the top 20 in the league for every other category, his average being 294, and he has 24 home runs. Andy Pages, one of the leaders in the league for RBI, he'll be in his second spot. Freddie Freeman back to where he normally is in the lineup in the third spot with a batting average of 309 and a career average of 300. Max Muncy bumps way up into the cleanup spot. So once again, Dave Roberts not afraid to mix up the lineup and put people in different spots. He's probably hoping that Max Muncy can bring his power at the plate up excuse me, up in the lineup and drive in some runs. As you can see, his slugging percentage is at .493. Mookie Betts will be at shortstop. Kyle Tucker at right field with a 240 average. Teo's average now in the seventh spot is gradually climbing, and that's great. Added to his home run total. As we mentioned before, he's now at 11. Tommy Edman almost also hit a home run last night. That was part of the fast start after Shohei got on base with a base hit, Andy Pajes got on base with a base hit, and then Tommy just completely laced one. But he's firmly back down to earth, if you will, at an even 300 average. And then once again, a new appearance for the Dodgers, Ben Rortvedt, who worked with the Dodgers last year for, I think it was a little less than 20 games, but got good reviews in terms of being able to work with the pitching staff. And because of that, they brought him back and traded for him because, as we said before, they're short at the catching spot. So as far as the keys for tonight, LA has scored 49 runs over the last 10 games, an average of just under 5 per game. They have to get firmly above that and not put too much pressure on the pitching staff. Of course, we're going to see how Skubal sets the tone early on. But the Dodgers are continually getting healthier and healthier, and that's one thing that portends well for the rest of the season. But what they have to do is, behind Skubal establishing his fastball, especially, and attacking the strike zone, they have to play solid defense. They have to avoid giving Chicago extra base runners. They have to eliminate the errors on the base paths as well, because that's something else that's plagued them just a little bit the last couple of weeks. All right, everybody, time to go live, as we are about 1 minute to first pitch. And as always, this is the best time, for you to get a snack and your favorite drink and settle in while we reload the 3D. As always, it's a little bit dicey trying to get the 3D loaded in time when the Dodgers are the away team to be able to see what Shohei Ohtani might start the game with. And it's been enough experience seeing the home runs hit to want to get in here as quickly as possible. And fortunately, we were able to do so. And the first pitch to Ohtani is high for a ball. Ohtani batting .294 with 24 home runs. And the next pitch is barely inside, but on the strike zone, evening the count to 101. Swings and misses at that one. It's one of the things that he chases sometimes to his detriment. He'll go after inside balls because he wants to pull those to right field and try to hit a home run. Excuse me, although I've seen him hit home runs to left center just as often as to right field. He's got that much power. But of course, he can build up a little bit more momentum if he's able to get ahead of the ball and pull it to right. So the 2-2 pitch jams him up inside, and now the count's full, 3-2. As Ohtani backs out a little bit and gives a cute smile to the home plate umpire. And this one's grounded to second base, picked up and thrown to first easily for the first out of the game. Last night, 3 batters into the game, the Dodgers had 3-0 lead. And I thought it might be a shootout. The Dodgers did score 5 runs, but obviously couldn't match the 10 that the Cubs were able to put together, in no small part due to the fact that they had 4 home runs. One from a guy in the 8th spot, had never hit a home run. At least he hadn't hit one this entire season. He acted like he just won the Super Bowl when he did. And so Andy Pages comes up with 1 out. And the early count to him is 1-1. D batting .270. That's well outside. He looks at it for ball 2. Assad is making his 10th start so far this year. It's fouled off by Pages, and that evens the count, 2-2. And another foul ball. This is something that Andy does on a pretty regular basis. Fights off tough pitches when there's 2 strikes. And did this yesterday and was able to convert one of those kinds of situations into a hit. Outstanding at bat. I'd like to see more power from him, more pop on a regular basis. But, I mean, he's been consistent in the 2 spot. If you look up in the top left corner, you can see what the count is as we go. Sometimes get a little bit of a preview because the command center that we've built will give you the results just a little bit earlier than the actual broadcast that I can see in the 3D simulates. Count now is 3-2 to Pages. Fouls that one off as well, 91 mile per hour fastball. That one's fouled straight down. We're starting to climb towards 10 pitches after Shohei Ohtani grounded out to second base to start the game. And he's kind of shaken that one off because, as you can see with his body language, he fouled it directly to the inside of his foot. He's okay, and he's back in the box, and he's back to work. This one's hit hard to third base, but picked up easily and thrown to first after a couple of steps for the second out of the inning. So 2 away, and now Freddie Freeman, who has a 13-game hit streak. And over that time, batting .481 coming up in his customary 3 spot. Yesterday and the day before, he was in the 4th spot because Dave Roberts was trying to drive in more runs, and he was the hottest hitter. Still is. Swings and misses at that really good pitch that trailed away from him for strike 1, 0-1. And the next pitch misses inside for a ball. And once again, like I said, the command center that we've built at LA Press Box in the top left corner of your screen can sometimes give you a little bit of a preview for what's going to be appearing because it's a few seconds ahead of the official broadcast, which is kind of cool. Now, if you're somebody like me that likes to watch movies and sporting events and not know what's coming up, and look up there at the moment of something taking place, at least the way that we announce it and we display it with 3D, or just after. He fouls that one away, and now the count is 2-2. Couple of full counts for Assad. We'll see what happens with this one if it happens again. It does not. He strikes out Freddie Freeman on a high fastball. And so 1-2-3, the Dodgers go out. But the big news, Tarik Skubal coming out to have his first start for the Dodgers. So Skubal just about ready to make his Dodgers debut. And if we check our command center, you can see what his stats look like to this point this year after being named the best pitcher in baseball the last couple of seasons. So Ben Rortvedt behind the plate. New catcher and a new pitcher. And whatever it takes for the Dodgers to get back on track. And the first pitch in there for a strike. In Skubal's last 6 starts, his ERA is just below 2 and gets Pete Crow Armstrong swinging on that one. Quickly, it's 0-2. Crow Armstrong batting .282. As we said in the preview, and maybe you saw this when I flipped over to the Master Command Center, he ranks in the top 20 in most batting categories in the league. That one's in the dirt. And a nice stop by the catcher. That one's fouled back. One's also in the dirt. Counts even, 2-2. I have not watched Skubal work with any regularity. So it'll be fun to kind of see what his body language is like, how he responds to adversity, all those things that go into making your personality. And that pitch is in there for strike 3. Got Pete Crow Armstrong, one of the better batters in the league, to look at strike 3. threw a fastball just in the lower edge of the strike zone at 99 miles an hour. And that is an awesome start to his Dodgers career. Let's go. Now he's going to face Suzuki, who hit a home run last night and is batting .273. Suzuki has 19 home runs on the season. And the early count to him is 1-1. That one's a swing and a miss. Changeup dropped on him at 88 miles per hour. So 1-2 is the count, and this one is hit high, and it's going to be caught by Andy Pages with a running sliding catch. And Skubal claps with his hand against his glove, points at Andy and says, "Thank you very much." The pitch was up, and Suzuki just got underneath it enough where it was threatening to drop short for a base hit, but it didn't, thanks to the newly minted All-Star, Andy Pages. So Bregman comes up, who's batting almost .500 career-wise against Skubal. And fouls that one off, making the count early 1-1. Skubal, wearing number 29 for the Dodgers, throws that one high and inside for a ball. Ball 2 with 1 strike. That one's roped foul to the left side as it dropped into the strike zone. So 2 out, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Alex Bregman. Kicking the pitch is grounded. Mookie Betts at shortstop, picks it up and throws to first. It bounced, but Freddie Freeman did a nice job digging it. And 1-2-3 goes the Tarik Skubal debut. And fist bumps for him on the way out. And at the end of 1, it's the Dodgers nothing and the Cubs nothing. So Max Muncy's going to come up to start the second inning, batting in the cleanup position for the Dodgers. Muncy gets started with a strike. And the next pitch misses outside for ball one. Pitch misses low for ball two, 2-1. Muncy's batting .255. And it's gone back and forth with Shohei Ohtani for the home run lead on the Dodgers staff. Behind Shohei now by a couple of home runs, but still has 21 on the season. Count now to Muncy is 3-1. And looks at that one inside. Good eye for ball four. So the Dodgers start this inning with the leadoff batter on. It's going to bring up Mookie Betts. Mookie batting .226 on the season. And that one's lined to third base, backhanded there, thrown to second, and then thrown to first for the double play. And this is one of the things I really don't like that Mookie Betts does. He hits into way too many double plays. In fact, the Dodgers overall have hit into more double plays than anybody else in baseball. I don't know precisely how you fix that, other than to say when somebody's on, try to make contact that's squarely under the ball and get it into the outfield, but you kind of have to do your own thing. So Kyle Tucker comes up and looks at the first pitch for a ball. Although, I mean, it can also be an indicator of how many solid batters in the Dodger lineup make contact and put the ball in play. Because, as we said before, I'll give you a quick look. And they're over here on the right-hand side. They're in the top part of baseball. They're in the top 5 or 10 in every single batting category. The only way you can do that is by making consistent contact and hitting the ball into play rather than striking out. Looks at that one inside for a ball. So the count's 2-1. Kyle Tucker got booed a lot yesterday as a former Cub, traded to the Dodgers. This one's hit deep to left center. It's carrying. It's still going. It's still going. And it's a home run for Kyle Tucker, the former Cub. I know, Charlie, that's exciting. All right, that's what we like to see. Solid first inning from a starting pitcher and run production early from the Dodgers. Good for Kyle Tucker, and a great job being confident to go the other way on that pitch rather than trying to pull it to right field. And the Dodgers have the early lead, 1-0. That's going to bring up the number 7 hitter, Teoscar Hernandez. That pitch misses just like the first, and Assad is down early to Teo, 2-0. Once again, last night hit a blast into the night that left the stadium. I don't know what the final measurement was, but boy, he absolutely crushed it. That one's a strike, and now the count is 2-1. And that one is grounded to second base after Horner had been shifted over. He's able to slide to his left, no problem, and make the play for the third out of the inning. But the former Cub, Kyle Tucker, comes back to Wrigley Field. I almost said Wrigley Stadium. It's called Wrigley Field. And answers the boos that he got last night. He got a smattering today early on, but not as many as last night. And the Dodgers now, after 1.5, have a lead of 1-0. So far, so good in the very brief new career that Tarek Skubal is carving out for himself as a Dodger. And we'll see how the second inning plays out as he starts it by facing Bush. Bush is a former Dodger. And the first pitch to Bush catches the strike zone, and the early count to him is 0-1. So far, as advertised, Tarek Skubal looks like the real deal as Bush swings and misses at the second pitch. And the next one's in the dirt for ball one. Next pitch on the way from Skubal. Swung on a miss for strike three. And so far, 2 innings and 2 strikeouts for Skubal. So the next batter to face him is Nico Horner. And that one catches the strike zone. And this is a great thing to see. It's a great thing to see a starting pitcher for the Dodgers, unlike some of the recent trends, start ahead in the count. But he's not throwing it right down the middle of the strike zone. Definitely early looks like he has good control and confidence. One misses, but it's close, and the count to Horner early is 1-1. This one delivered, and it's flied to right field. Tucker's coming up quickly, and he slides, tumbles, and makes the catch. Good job by the former Cub. So a couple of highlight plays early on for Kyle Tucker. And 5 batters up, 5 batters down for Skubal. Oh, some of that credit goes to the defense, of course. One, a really good play there by Tucker, and another one by Andy Pajes in the first inning. Both of them coming up and making contact between their body and the grass to make the grab. So now the six-hitter Taylor comes up, batting .241 with 10 home runs. And that one misses. The count's 1-1. So Skubal mixing it up. Fastballs, changes, and curves. That one swung on and missed. The count's 1-2. That one was a fastball that just missed. 99-mile-an-hour fastball. And Skubal kind of sticks out his bottom lip to say, okay, if you say so. And gets back to work against Taylor. And just strikes him out instead as Skubal skips backwards off the mound and then jogs into the Dodgers dugout. And so early on, Skubal looking just as advertised and couldn't come at a better time for the Dodgers pitching staff. Through 2 innings, he has 3 strikeouts, and nobody's been on base so far for the Cubs. Completely opposite of the recent trend for the Dodgers. So, going to the next inning, score is Dodgers 1 and the Cubs 0. So Saad now to face Tommy Edman, who's slid down the batting order just a little bit as a result of the fact that he hasn't been as hot as he was initially out of the gate the first month after rejoining the Dodgers from an ankle injury. Yesterday he hit a home run on the very first pitch of his very first at bat. And this one is hit to left field, but looks like Tyrod Taylor is going to be able to get over there without much trouble and make the catch for the first out of the inning. So Ben Rortvedt comes up. It'll take me a little practice to pronounce that one. In the 9 spot, as a newly acquired catcher, To help them with their depth and injury problems. Looks at that one for a ball. And the next one catches the strike zone. And count is 1-1. And the word is that Alfonso was sent back down to the minors. And who knows over time whether we'll see him back with the Dodgers or in another jersey, let alone in the majors at all. And Ben looks at that for the second strike of the at-bat, 1-2. And that one is in the dirt. Technically the dirt and home plate. And when it hits that hard surface of the home plate, it bounces up really high and over everybody's head. So umpire gets one of the many stocked baseballs he holds on to and throws a new one in. And we immediately get back to work. Next pitch on the way from Assad, and grounded into the hole, but a really good job by Bush diving to get the ball before it goes into right field and then throw it to first base as Assad is covering. And a really nice job by really what is probably the best defense in baseball. But now that's going to bring up Shohei Ohtani. And Ohtani fouls off the first pitch for strike one. And chases that one that's low and away. And the count is 0-2. Ohtani's batting .293. Pretty full stadium in Chicago, as that one's also fouled off. And this one is lined to right field, but it's going almost straight to Suzuki, who makes the catch for 3 in the inning. And after 2.5, it's still the Dodgers 1 and the Cubs 0. So far so good for Skubal and the Dodgers defense. 3 strikeouts for recently acquired Tarek Skubal, which made the biggest headline in baseball. Getting one of the best pitchers in baseball 2 days before the trade deadline. And now Swanson comes up, who's batting .214. 16 home runs. Swanson swings at the very first pitch, and it's traveling deep. It's going well gone and over the fence about halfway up in the section of left center. And just like that, thanks to the 17th home run now by Swanson, the game is now tied 1-1. Now, of course, you hope that the Dodgers starting pitcher mojo isn't going to affect the brand new Dodgers Skubal, which involves giving up home runs early. It's just one. I'm not going to panic. Skubal is Skubal. But that's going to bring up Ramirez, the 8-hitter, who's batting .307. And I'm surprised that he's that far down the lineup, batting over .300. Although it has only one home run. That one is swung on early and carries foul to the right side. And so the count is 0-1. And this one is hit shallow, and here comes Andy Pages again, and another sliding catch by Andy Pages. And he shovels the ball into the infield like no big deal, underhand. Golly. And this is one of the reasons he was named an All-Star for the first time this year. Almost exactly the same kind of catch he made earlier in the game. So that brings up Amaya, the 9-hitter, batting .239. Now there's one away. Hope you're able to see that one. Count now is 1-1 to Amaya. Try to time up the 3D so even if you're not watching it live, you can see the simulation. And it's amazing how good the 3D is, even though there's glitches like during timeouts and stuff, which are kind of just entertaining if you ask me. But being able to see such a good simulation of what happens in the game live is really a treat. And you could see him on that play, diving and having great body control to make that grab. And that one's outside of the strike zone, and Amaya strikes out. So another strikeout for Tarek Skubal. And like that, Pete Crow Armstrong comes up, top of the lineup for the Chicago Cubs. Crow Armstrong is batting .281. Struck out his first time up to Skubal. I think they call him Scoobs. I don't know if they call him Scooby for sure. I'll find that out shortly enough. And the count, Crow Armstrong is 1-1. And that one just misses outside for ball 2. Pitch on the way from Skubal, and blasted just over the head of Freddie Freeman at first into right field for a base hit. I don't know what the Cubs do, presuming every team does whenever they get on base. I know the Dodgers do the Dodgers dance. When they put their arms over their head and they twist. They all have their kind of version of that. So now Suzuki's going to come up, who hit a home run last night. And Crow Armstrong's got a pretty big lead. Oh, he's way past the cut, and he's stealing. And this pitch is in the dirt. They can't even make a throw down to second. And I don't know what the catcher, Rortvet's report is on being able to throw to second. Like I said, they just acquired him to come back to the Dodgers after last year's, I think it was 18-game appearance. But I know if it's Dalton rushing behind the plate, you're going to steal because he's not particularly great at trying to throw down to second and get people that are attempting to. But it's a little surprising, although Crow Armstrong is that fast, that he was able to get such a big lead and a jump on Skubal because Skubal's a lefty. He's looking straight at him before he delivers home. And Suzuki's facing a 2-0 count. And now Skubal looking a little bit different, falling behind in the count rather than leading early. That one's a ball, making the count 3-0. And that one's in there for a strike. And now the count's 3-1. So a runner in scoring position, who's now harder to check when you're a left-handed thrower than a right-handed. And that one's in the strike zone, fouled off. And Skubal fights back to now have a full count, 3-2. So the 3-2 pitch misses high, and Suzuki gets walked. And now the Cubs, with 2 outs, have runners at first and second. And that's going to bring up Bregman. Alex Bregman's 0 for 1 today, but he has the best track record hitting against Skubal of all the Cubs. He almost averages 1 hit for every 2 times he faces Skubal. Skubal has 120 strikeouts to only 15 walks. So that's something I think all of us as Dodgers fans, presuming you're a Dodgers fan, if you're not, welcome Cubs fans. Part of the reason we have this channel. But it's something that all the Dodgers fans can look forward to. And we'd love to get a punch out now. And this one is fly to center field. But the catch is going to be made in shallow center by Andy Pages, and 3 away. But a home run given up by Skubal, and he's tallying quite a few strikeouts early on, but gives up a home run as well. And after 3, score is even at 1. So you can see here in our master command center what's happened so far. And if you just joined us late, Dansby Swanson hit that home run. Categories over here in the far right. You can also see what the Dodgers have done at the plate. Got a couple of hits early on. Nobody scored in the first inning. Dodgers drew first blood in the second, and now we're all tied up. So sun's starting to go down, and lights starting to come on. And Andy Pages set to come up. So Andy's 0 for 1 tonight. He's batting .270 on the season, and he's in the top 20 in the league in RBI with 74. That's probably what he does best at the plate right now, which is getting hits when there are Dodgers on base that he can move along or bring home. But nobody in that position as Andy starts this inning off. And that pitch misses outside, and now the early count to Andy is 2-1. And the pitcher, Javier Assad, steps off the mound and calls for timeout. So Andy steps out. And this one's ground to the shortstop. Swanson picks it up and throws it to first in time to get Andy. And the first out of the inning. Good solid play by Swanson. And so that'll bring up Freddie Freeman. Freeman's batting .309 on the season, 0 for 1 so far this evening from the plate. Looks at the first pitch for a strike. Saad delivers the next one, and it's a ball. This one's a fastball, misses well inside to Freeman, who doesn't jump out of the way. Kind of like that. And now the count's 2-1. And Assad throws another pitch in the same exact spot. Now the count's 3-1. So Assad kicks and delivers, and once again, 3 straight pitches inside, almost in the exact same spots. Walks Freddie Freeman, so the Dodgers have a runner with 1 out. And now tonight's cleanup hitter, Max Muncy, playing third base, comes up. And it's a good guy to have up with somebody on base. As you can see here, Max is down here. He's got one of the best slugging percentages in the league. And a swing and a miss from Muncy. Count goes to 0-2. don't know why I want to peek over here, but I will anyway. Freddie Freeman to see how kind of a lead. He's got his right foot past the cut of the grass. He's not typically a threat to steal. Although I said that a couple of games ago, and he stole anyway. But the Dodgers are way behind. They probably just let him do it. But Max Muncy swings and misses. And goes down on strikes there. 2 outs. Mookie Betts is coming to the plate. And that one's inside to Mookie, but inside the strike zone for strike 1. Next pitch is outside, the count's 1-1. Mookie grounded into a double play in the first inning. And one of the things we talked about is how the Dodgers are leading all of baseball with the most hit into double plays. That one's just clipping the corner of the strike zone for strike 2, 1-2. For some reason, Assad's a little more mindful of Freddie Freeman over there, who's got a bigger lead. I can see why. Now his left foot is at the cut. And this one's hit to right field. Suzuki only has to take a couple of steps back and makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. So, go to the middle of the 4th, and the Dodgers still tied with the Cubs at 1. So a 1-1 game going to the bottom of the 4th, and so far, solid job by Tarek Skubal. Did give up a home run. As you can see here on our command center, over here to the right, try to zoom it in just a little bit, Dansby Swanson hit the home run. Kyle Tucker has a home run for the Dodgers as they drew first blood in the 2nd inning based on that solo home run by the former Cub. So Bush is 0 for 1 tonight. Skubal has, I believe, 4 strikeouts so far. I can check on that in a second. And Bush looks at the first pitch for a ball. And this one's popped up to left field. Teoscar Hernandez comes up just a little bit and makes the catch. No problem for the first out of the inning. It's one of the best indicators of a good pitcher is what some people would call boring baseball. Pop-ups, easy ground outs, all of that stuff. That's what the Dodgers need from a pitching standpoint right now. You need the other team to be really boring at the plate, and that is not the Chicago Cubs. Chicago Cubs, as you could see in our command center early on, and I'll try to flip to that later, is one of the best offenses in baseball and perhaps the best defense in baseball right now. This one is fly to right, and Kyle Tucker is going to come up without too much trouble. It really hung up there and makes the second catch of the inning for yet another boring out. Hey, new catcher Ben Rortvedt, welcome. Welcome back to the Dodgers. So that's going to bring up the 6-hitter Taylor, who's 0 for 1. And he's batting .240 on the season. And this one is chopped short to third base. Max Muncy comes up, picks it up with one bare hand, throws to first for the third out. And a 1-2-3 inning once again for Tarek Skubal. Love to see that. And at the end of 4, it's the Dodgers 1 and the Cubs 1. So it looks like we have an early pitching duel by Assad and Skubal. Let's take a look at some of the scores. Although you have a little ticker at the top here. This is probably a better indicator. See, the Mets are up 6-2 over Cleveland. The A's are down by a run to Cincinnati. The Yankees have a lead late in the game on St. Louis. The most relevant, of course, are, if you're a Dodgers fan, San Diego Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks. They both trail the Dodgers in the National League West Division. Arizona only 9 games back now. So the Dodgers hoping to stop the bleeding of their longest losing streak of the season at 4 games. So Kyle Tucker is set to come up, and it's a bunch of boos as the former Chicago Cub. But got a hit last night, and today a home run as well as a diving catch in right field. So repays the love, if you will, to his former home stadium. And that one's fouled off for strike 1. That was a big, slow curveball, 79 miles per hour. And missed for ball 1. Oh, and as the catcher was throwing the ball back to the pitcher, it hit Kyle Tucker in the head. Whoa. And fortunately, they wear a helmet, so he's okay, and he's going to get back to work. So the count's 1-2 to Tucker. Not really hurt by the ball being thrown into his head, but also not happy about it. No smile as he fouls that one off, and the count remains. This one is inside in the strike zone, turned on very quickly by Kyle Tucker. Grounded foul to the right side. And that pitch hits in front of home plate in the dirt. Now the count's 2-2. And this one's lined into center field. A nice clean base hit for Kyle Tucker, who gets to first base. And does the Dodger dance. So Assad gives up a base hit, and nobody out. That'll bring up Teoscar Hernandez. Teo is 0 for 1 so far this evening. And swings and fouls that first pitch off. Next pitch, also fouled off. This time got jammed up inside and a little bit upset with himself because that's almost the same spot where he turned on a pitch yesterday and hit it out of the stadium. Next pitch on the way from Assad. Wide and in the dirt, and it gets past the catcher, and it's going to roll back to the backstop. And Kyle Tucker is going to easily take second base. So now, with nobody out, the Dodgers have a golden opportunity to score a runner in scoring position. Assad looks at second, delivers, and Teoscar Hernandez. Wow, he swung at a pitch for strike 3 that wasn't even close. Nowhere near the strike zone. And I don't understand why that's one of his biggest weaknesses. Maybe the biggest. He chases stuff that's way outside. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. But here's Tommy Edman, who's batting .300 on the season, and looks at the first pitch for a strike, 0-1. Assad delivers the next pitch, and this one's grounded to the shortstop. Kyle Tucker is going to be able to run to third base, and the speedy Edman is not able to beat the throw to first. So Tucker advances. But it's going to be up to the newly acquired catcher in the 9th spot, Ben Rortvedt, to bring him home with 2 outs. Rortvedt's 0 for 1 tonight. Rounded out the first time. Saad is now up to 77 pitches and misses sizably with that one, ball one. And the next one misses, 2-0. Shohei Ohtani on deck. And this one's grounded straight over second base, but Swanson's able to cross all the way to the other side and pick up the ground ball, throw to first for the third out. And so Kyle Tucker left on base, which is something the Dodgers struggle with recently. That's part of their 4-game losing streak, is leaving runners on base and not bringing them home, particularly when they're in scoring position. So we go to the bottom of the fifth, and the score is still tied at 1. So Swanson comes up, and he's the only person that's been able to get to Tarek Skubal tonight as a solo home run, and the only run for the Cubs. And that one swung on a miss for a strike. Next one misses, and the count's even, 1-1. Another swing and a miss. And now Swanson's down with the count 1-2. Skubal looks comfortable and confident. Finally kind of into a rhythm in the moment. Probably more, not thinking about the fact that he's pitching for the Dodgers. That one's fouled off. And that one is swung on and missed by Swanson. So Scooble gets back on track and gets some revenge on Swanson after his solo home run. So that's going to bring up the 8-hitter Ramirez. 0 for 1 tonight. Batting 304 in the season, though. And that's a strike. Scooble starts him early in the hole. Google producing some pretty boring baseball so far, and that's exactly what we want. This one's hit into right center field, but Andy Pajes is able to run over there without too much trouble and make the play. And just like that, 2 outs in this inning. Now Scooble gets the ball back and going to face the bottom of the lineup in the number 9 hitter, Amaya. And that one's fouled off for strike 1. Next pitch on the way from Scooble. That one's flied high, but Mookie Betts is under it. Doesn't have to move much and easily makes yet another boring out thanks to a strong outing to this point by Tarek Scooble. And at the end of 5, it's the Dodgers 1 and the Cubs 1. So Scooble's doing his job. Now the Dodgers batters, other than Kyle Tucker, need to do theirs. And no better time to start this off than Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani has grounded out to second. He's also flied out to right. That one misses. We hope Ohtani continues to not pull his head and open up too early in the in the box. This one is driven versus a very shifted over infield. A third baseman essentially playing in shortstop's position, and it's to left field. It's wide open for a base hit. So Otani finally gets a base hit, and hopefully Andy Pages, who's up next, does the same thing because Andy's 0 for 2 tonight. What kind of lead Shohei gets here. He sinks into the dirt and comes back up. It's a healthy lead. His foot that's nearest to first base is almost to the grass cut. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a steal from Shohei. Doesn't happen very often these days. Because the Dodgers are trying to use him both offensively and defensively. He hasn't pitched for a couple weeks now due to this mysterious knee inflammation. Now it's fouled off by Andy. Count 1-1. This one's chopped foul to the left side. And the count's 1-2 to Andy Pages. So far, Shohei is not running. And this one's grounded to third. Is this going to be another double play? It's thrown to second in time and also to first. Yes. So the Dodgers once again have a runner on and wipe him out by hitting into a double play. So 2 away, and now Freddie Freeman's going to come up. Freeman's 0 for 1, batting .309 this season. And looks at the first pitch for a strike, 0-1. And that one's grounded foul. And quickly, the count is 0-2. And the pitch to Freeman is hit over the diving head of the second baseman into right center for a base hit. And now Freddie Freeman continues. Continues his hit streak to 14 games. And I think that's going to be it for Assad, who gets a standing ovation from the crowd. Did an outstanding job tonight. That one just over the outstretched hand of the second baseman. In fact, it hit the top of his glove, then continued into the outfield. So Assad does an outstanding job. A lot of pats, a lot of bumps on the mound. And we'll see who the first relief pitcher of the evening is going to be as they come in. And my voice apparently is still cracking. Haven't done that since I was in high school. And it looks like Orion Rawlinson is going to come in. That's the early report, and that's one of the reasons we built this command center for everybody, so we don't have to wait for the broadcast to chime in. He looks like he's got a 2.45 ERA, a whip of 1.27, and a 5-1 record on the season, which is pretty darn good for a middle reliever. As you can see with our diamond visualization, there's now a runner on first thanks to Freddie Freeman lining it into right field just over the outstretched arm of the second baseman. And Max Muncy is coming up next. If you look here, you can see Max Muncy under SLG has one of the best slugging percentages in the league. He's right around the top 20 at 4.91. So the lefty Rollison throws to first base, which is kind of surprising, knowing that Freddie Freeman is not the most fleet of foot. But it'd be great to see Max Muncy hit one of his patented drives to the right corner of the field, as that one's called a ball. But the catcher challenges. Taps his head, as you can see there. And the challenge is successful. And the call overturned. Instead of a 1-0 count, it's an 0-1. And that one is a check swing, but a ball. And now the count's 1-1. That one swung on a missed outside, and the count's 1-2. And Muncy looking to drive a runner forward, but instead he strikes out. So good job by the reliever coming in for the Cubs. And the Dodgers not able to do anything with the 2 hits this inning. One stranded, that Freddie Freeman. And earlier, hitting into a double play, Andy Pages, regardless of the fact that Shohei Ohtani had his first base hit of this game. So we go to the bottom of the 6th, and we are still tied with the Dodgers 1 and the Cubs 1. So Pete Crow Armstrong comes up and set to face Skubal, who's only given up 2 hits tonight. And his pitch count is also relatively low. at 66. One of the things I notice about Skubal when he delivers the ball, he's got a really high kick. And he's thrown some fastballs that really have good movement on him, but he hasn't, at least tonight, thrown 100 miles an hour or more. And so I think one of the things that's a challenge for hitters, and one of the things that makes Skubal one of the best pitchers in the game, is that high leg kick, because the hand that holds the ball gets hidden behind that leg for a split second more than your average pitcher. And that split second can make all the difference in terms of being able to track out of the hand of the pitcher where the ball's going if you're the batter. So Skubal facing one of the best batters in baseball and makes him swing and miss there, and the count's 1-2. Last time Crow Armstrong was up, he got on base and was able to steal. It wasn't even contested. But this one's swung on and missed for strike 3. The 6th strikeout for the more than welcome Tarik Skubal. He's really cooking right now. Last several innings, in fact. Very few pitches, a lot of boring defense for the Dodgers behind him, and that's exactly what you want. And now with 1 out, Suzuki comes up. First pitch misses inside for ball 1. And the next one misses outside for ball 2. If you're just joining us tonight, get in the chat and tell us who you're rooting for. And a quick program note, tomorrow the Dodgers play at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. So you might be at work, but I'll be live streaming regardless. And if you can't watch, and you can't watch us, at least you can listen. So the pitch on the way from Skubal. And he walks Suzuki. One of the few at-bats that Skubal got behind and walked somebody. Walks are really unusual for him. Going into this game, he only had 15 walks that he had given up the entire season. Now he's going to face Bregman, who has the most success of any Cub against him. And this one is hit deep to Kyle Tucker, the former Cub, and he bangs off the door that goes to the Dodgers bullpen, and it bounces off of the wall. And it's a catchable ball, but a difficult one to catch. And that helps the runners advance. Now, fortunately, they don't score on this one. But now there are runners at second and third, and there's only 1 out. That's going to be scored a double. And Bregman continues to have success against Skub. So 1 out and 2 on, and now Bush is up. Bush is 0 for 2 tonight. Dodgers infield, as you can see, second base, shortstop, third base, all playing up because there's only 1 out, and if Bush hits it short and the third base runner goes home, they have to prevent that run and get it to the newly acquired Rortvedt, I think is how you pronounce his name, the new catcher for them. that one's fouled off. Now the count's 1-1. And Bush hits this one to second base. Tommy Edman's going to throw it home as the third base runner is trying to score, and they make the tag in time. Throw was just a little bit high, but Rorfed did a nice job getting it and getting the glove down for the second out of the inning. And that's exactly why the infield was playing up, just in case of that situation. Outstanding job by our second baseman and catcher. Now with 2 outs, Skubal has a little less pressure on him, because the Dodgers can go to first or catch a fly out. But they do have, the Cubs that is, runners at first and third. That one misses outside. Horner's 0 for 2 tonight. He's also batting .255 on the season and has 51 RBI. Definitely has an opportunity here with a runner at third. And he fouls that one out of play to the right field area. And this one is chopped super high, almost becomes like a ground to a fly ball. Tommy Edman can just not get there in time because it hung in the air so long. And because of that, a runner comes home. Now, Dave Roberts is coming out, the Dodgers manager, and he's arguing that Tommy Edman couldn't get to the ball as well because the runner was kind of in his way. And they're showing the replay. See if that's the case. In fact, yeah, Edman had to check up because he didn't want to collide. But I think it's just one of those things, and the Dodgers are going to have to suck it up. Yeah, and Edman, I mean, I don't know what the rule is. I don't know if the rule is, supposed to, if they're projected to collide, a runner and a fielder, whose responsibility it is to get out of the way. I have a feeling it's the runner. It seems to make sense to me, and I think that's why Dave Roberts was arguing, although Tommy Edman just checked up. He didn't run full speed and run into anybody. It was just the movement he had coming from his peripheral vision out of his left eye, so to speak, that made him kind of hesitate. So unfortunately for the Dodger fans, a run comes home. Instead of being able to make that play and end the inning by picking up and throwing it to first. So now the 6-hitter Taylor comes up. I think that last one was ruled a base hit. We can check it in the command center in a little bit. This inning not over, 2 outs, and as you can see, runners at second and first. Count is 1-2 to Taylor. And Skubal checking the runners. Throws this one high for ball 2. Skubal delivers, And hit to center field shallow. Eddie Pajes is going to run up not too much trouble to get there and make the third out of the inning. But 2 hits that inning, and 1 run comes home on a really unfortunate play. And now the Dodgers trail at the end of 6, 1-2. So the reliever, Rollison, comes out to the bump again. And Mookie Betts is going to face him. And the Dodgers offense needs to get untracked. Although the 7th inning is when they normally score their most runs. But they're not supporting Skubal the way he needs. The Dodgers hitting into a couple of double plays tonight. That's part of the reason they've been pretty quiet. I mean, they have a handful of hits, but needless to say, only 1 run on a solo home run. And a challenge leads to a 1-2 count on Mookie. The next pitch misses for a ball, 2-2. That one also misses, and now the count's full. And this one's a bullet to the third base side, but foul. And the count remains 3-2. Full count pitch from Rollison. Grounded to short. Swanson picks it up, throws to first, and 1 away. And I can hear the boos, so that means Kyle Tucker's coming up. That hit that forced him to make a collision with the outfield fence was ruled not an error, but a double. Although the fans took a little more glee in the fact that it was Tucker that was involved and had trouble getting to the ball and making the catch. And that's part of what led to the Cubs scoring another run and having a 1-run lead right now. But Tucker's 2 for 2 today. And he's responsible for the 1 run that the Dodgers have on the scoreboard as he fouls that one off and the count's 0-2. And the home plate umpire talking to Rollison. And let's see if we can see how Scoob did before. It looks like they pull him out. So Scoob will pitch 6 innings, and you can see he had 4 hits, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, and had 6 strikeouts, 6 Ks. Pitch from Rollison to Tucker, and grounded to second base. Horner picks it up and throws quickly and easily for the second out. And it looks like the Cubs, after patting Rollison on the back for doing a good job, are going to make a change. And we'll see who that person is shortly. We're going to go to our freshly built command center, and usually we can get a word well before the broadcast does. But as you can see, Teoscar Hernandez is due to come up next, and there it is, locked in. Looks like it's going to be Tyler Ferguson. And because he's got an ERA of 6.14, obviously some opportunity there for the Dodgers. He's given up 5 home runs. And he's only pitched in 14 innings. So that's a home run every 3 innings. It might be auspicious timing for the Dodgers because Teo has been on a little bit of a heater lately. Let's see what Teo's done so far tonight using our other command center. So here's Teoscar Hernandez, third from the bottom. He's been up twice. He has not scored any runs. He struck out once, and the strikeout looked absolutely terrible. He was chasing a ball that was 1.5 feet outside, and that's really the worst look that you get from him when he doesn't do well at the plate. But he has been on base, and he's been left there. That's what LOB means. So nobody on base, and Teoscar Hernandez trying to give the Dodgers some kind of a spark here, although they're only down by 1. And he looks at the first pitch for a ball, 1-0. Dodgers with only 4 hits tonight. Cubs also with 4. But they have more where it counts, and that's on the scoreboard. And this one jams up Teoscar. I don't know why he spins around like that. It's just not very fundamental. And pops up. And the pop-up out of bounds in foul territory halfway between home plate and first base is caught, and the Dodgers have another scoreless inning. So we go to the 7th inning stretch, And before the Cubs come up, it's a good time for a stretch, and the Dodgers are down 1-2. So Alex Vesia comes up to relieve Tarek Skubal. And you can see here how Scoobs did. I don't know if Scoob? But he pitched 6 innings and did a solid job. He gave up a solo home run, but did not have and has not had to this point enough run production to back him up. And we'll see if the Dodgers can do that with their final 6 outs. Only down 1. But here comes Swanson, who hit a solo home run himself earlier in the game in the 3rd inning as a response to Kyle Tucker's solo home run. Dodgers are trying to avoid their first 5-game losing streak of this season. Their only game losing streak, if it happens that way. But needless to say, they're very capable coming back here late in the game. And that one swung on and missed. And the count, Swanson is 0-2. Hit the home run about halfway up the stands in the 3rd inning. Swanson is 1 for 2, and he's batting .215 on the season. And that one misses for ball 1. And this one is rocketed to left center. Teoscar Hernandez is coming over, and he muffs picking it up. And because of that, Swanson's able to take second base. And that is not what the Dodgers need. That's just careless. That's unprofessional. His last swing was unprofessional, if you ask me. Not a good follow-through. Not disciplined, and fouled out to end the inning. And now he comes out here and makes an error to allow them to have the first batter get on base and go to second base. And Ramirez turns around to bunt, but is not able to get the bunt down, fouls it back for strike 1. Ramirez 0 for 2 tonight. Alex Vesia with really good competitive body language. He's going to step off the mound here really quick and take a look at second base, try to hold this guy. Then now he's going to get back to work. Ramirez batting 301 on the season, so one of the better batting averages in baseball. And since I'm not a Cubs fan, I can't tell you if they have him batting in the 8th position just to try to give some juice as the 9-hitter lineup goes back to the top with Pete Crow Armstrong at the first spot. Or if he's just been hot lately and they haven't moved him up in the lineup. So Vesia delivers to Ramirez. High chopper to third base. Max Muncy gets it, looks at second base to tell that guy don't go anywhere, then makes the throw to first, almost running across the entire width of the diamond, and does a nice job. Really nice job. Doesn't just throw to first and get the out, but also holds the runner at second. So one away with the runner at second. Now Amaya comes up. Maya at the bottom of the lineup in the 9th spot, who's 0 for 2. And the first pitch misses high for ball 1. Next pitch on the way. And misses low for ball 2, 2-0. So on second base, they have a runner that's kind of jumping back and forth. You can see him right there. And so Vesia steps off the rubber and stares him back to second. Vesia finally delivers, and it's grounded to Mookie Betts at shortstop, who's able to also hold the runner at second base, just like his compadre, Max Muncy, did. He'll throw the first for the second out of the inning. So now Pete Crow Armstrong comes up, who's 1 for 3. If you look at our command center, he's at the top left here with all the gold next to his name in the first spot. We build that so that you can see who is truly elite. I set it so that if they're in the top 20 in terms of statistics in this league, then it's going to glow yellow. And this one is driven to right center, safely going to allow Pete Crow Armstrong to get on and also bring home the runner from second base. So the Cubs doing what the Dodgers should already be doing at this point in the game, and that is bringing in runs and being able to score runners that are in scoring position. And now, after Vesia gives up the hit, scores 3-1, and he's going to get the hook. And he's struggled lately. I really like Vesia. I like his body language, I like his intensity. But they're giving him the hook right now. Dodgers are trying to avoid losing their 5th game in a row. So let's go to our command center and see who the next pitcher is going to be. After Vesia comes in and does very short work and gets the boot. Vesia had a 2.79 ERA, and it was lower earlier in the season. And I'm sure it's going to tick up after today. And you can see whoever the next pitcher is going to face Suzuki, who already has a home run tonight, which you can also see in our command center. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There it is. Sorry, Suzuki had a home run yesterday. I'm glitching out. Swanson had a home run today. And it looks like it's going to be, now that it's filled in, Evan Phillips, who does not have the strongest ERA, He has a 5.40 ERA, a whip of 1.2. And he's pieced together a total of just over 8 innings that he's pitched. But in those innings, he's given up 4 home runs. So 1 home run for every 2 innings he pitches. Does have a respectable ratio of strikeouts, also known as Ks, walks, 9-2. So Suzuki is 0 for 1 tonight, and he has an average of 272 this season. And Phillips delivers to Suzuki, and Pete Crow Armstrong is stealing, slides head first, well in time, and steals his 28th base of the season. And why not? Why not test the newly acquired catcher that has limited experience for the Dodgers? Still, though, 2 outs, and the Dodgers within striking distance, but they're running low on time. Suzuki hit his 19th home run of the season last night, and looks at this pitch just out of the strike zone, and the early count to him is 1-1. Now Phillips has to be a little concerned about Pete Crow Armstrong on second base, who has a healthy lead, although Tommy Edmonds behind him, or at least close to and behind second base. So Phillips about to deliver to Suzuki, and it's hit to center field, and it's shallow. Andy Pajas is coming up. He has a strong arm. He's throwing home, and it is not even going to be close to being on time. Somebody should have cut that ball off if they were going to try to let it go home, because that's a long way to throw it. Although Andy could have thrown it more in the air and not catch the friction of the grass and slow it down. So another run for the Cubs. And the crowd is really hyped right now in the bottom of the 7th. And now the Cubs leading by 3. And the 3-hitter, Bregman, coming up, who's 1 for 3. Hit a double earlier and batting .247 on the season. Pitch to Bregman. And it's hit deep to right, but curling foul and out of play. So the count to Bregman is 2-1. 2 outs and a runner at first. Both teams still have their challenges. And this one is grounded to third. Max Muncy picks it up and makes the shorter throw to second base and ends the inning. The Cubs tack on to their lead and get some insurance with the Dodgers going to the top of the 8th inning and having 6 outs left to make up a gap of 3 runs. Dodgers 1 and Cubs 4. All right, looks like the Cubs are going to bring in Ryan Zephyrdon. I think I'm saying that right. Who has an ERA of 3.66 with a 1.2. He's thrown 75 strikeouts, but also given up 32 walks. And recently traded for and acquired from the Los Angeles. I can't say that. I'm just going to say the Angels. Can't say Los Angeles. They're not from Los Angeles. They're in Orange County, for crying out loud. Zephyrdon from Topeka, Kansas originally. And he's going to face Tommy Edman, who's going to bat from the opposite side of the righty. And looks at the first pitch for a strike. Infield is shifted way over, as you can see. And this one is grounded to second base. Picked up and thrown to first for the first out. Dodgers are going to make a pinch hit substitution, and Alex Call gets the call. He's batting .248 this season. And his pinch hitting spot is one he's been able to be somewhat productive from. And they put him in the 9th spot because if he's able to get on base, he has speed for somebody else at the top of the Dodgers lineup, notably Shohei Ohtani, who's on deck. Push him along and bring him in. Looks at the first pitch for a strike. Meanwhile, Edwin Diaz is warming up for the Dodgers in the bullpen. And as Call looks at the next pitch, inside for a strike, 0-2. Got a very open stance, meaning that the foot that's closest to the pitcher, pretty far back, so he can kind of face and look at that ball cleanly. And track it coming out of the pitcher's hand early. That one misses for a ball, 1-2. And this one's pop high, and it's in foul territory, but the question is whether Ramirez is going to be able to get there, and he reaches over the railing for the dugout and was able to make the catch. So Alex Call pops out, another pop out by the Dodgers, and not a good offensive display so far for this day. As Shohei Ohtani comes up, who does have a hit. Now the Dodgers down to their final 4 outs. And Shohei looks at that first pitch for a ball. Next pitch is a sweeper inside. Ohtani swings at that one, bringing the count to 1-1. And this one's hit pretty far and pretty deep in left field, but Tyrone Taylor's getting over there and makes a nice catch. Dodgers go down 1-2-3. And we go to the bottom of the 8th, and it's the Dodgers 1 and the Cubs 4. And after warming up in the bullpen, looks like Edwin Diaz is going to come in for the Dodgers. So they try to keep this from getting out of hand, facing 3 remaining outs. Be able to close the gap and avoid their longest losing streak of this season. Diaz is going to have to face Bush first. Hunter Vidusha is coming in to catch. See if he gets a chance to bat. Odds are long, but he does. But most importantly, the Dodgers have to produce their final time at the plate after hopefully holding the Cubs in check this opportunity at the plate. Michael Bush is 0 for 3 tonight. The first pitch is fouled off for strike 1. The next one is also fouled off, and the count is 0-2. Next pitch. This is well outside for a ball, 1-2. Next pitch misses inside for ball 2. Count evens up 2-2. Pitch on the way and grounded on the way to shortstop, but because of the overshifted defense, that's Max Muncy there, technically the third baseman. Does a nice job charging the ball and recording the out. With one away, 5-hitter Horner's coming up, who's 1 for 3 tonight. First pitch misses for a ball. Next one, well inside for ball 2, 2-0. This one catches the strike zone just on the inside corner. And the question now is, can the Dodgers close this out and remain close with a 2-1 count and 1 away? And this one is high, but still swung at and blasted deep and gone in left field over the fence for another solo home run for the Cubs. And Nico Horner sends that one well gone. And now the Dodgers are down 5-1. And now, pitching coach is coming out to talk to Diaz. Next up is going to be the number 6 hitter, Ian Happ. Only batting .215 this season, but does have 18 home runs. And the Chicago fans are having fun. That's saying something. Just because it's a weekday and, a lot of people have work tomorrow, but the Dodgers are in town and might as well enjoy the success that the Cubs are having recently. Some of the best teams in the league. And this pitch misses. The early count to Happ is 2-0. This one also misses. So 3 straight balls from Diaz to Happ. That one in there for a strike. Looks like Happ was taking. Next one catches the edge of the strike zone, although it looked like it was a ball. Nobody challenging here. And the count goes full, 3-2. So Happ in a 3-2 count. And the next pitch misses. So Diaz puts Happ on. And the Cubs have a runner at first with only 1 away. Swanson, the 7-hitter, is coming up, who's 2 for 3. He has a solo home run and a double. And the pitch from Diaz is grounded in the hole between shortstop and third. I'm surprised Mookie didn't run harder at that one, but hard for me to say whether he could have gotten there. It's a base hit, and that's how it counts. And now Swanson has 3 hits on the evening. He's done everything but a triple. Single, a double, and a home run. So that'll bring up the 8-hitter, Ramirez. As Jack Dreyer is now getting warmed up in the Dodgers bullpen. Dodgers pitchers have given up 6 home runs in this series. We're only about 2/3 of the way through it. But really, I mean, there's enough responsibility and blame to go all the way around. Dodgers can't produce 1 run. Expect to win at all. And that one's grounded foul, and the count is 1-2 to Ramirez. Ramirez is 0 for 3 tonight. And because of that, now his batting average dips below 300. He was just above 300 before the game started. That one is fouled back. Counts 1-2. Runners on first and second, only 1 out. Dodgers, of course, would love to have Ramirez ground into a double play here. And this one instead is swung on a miss for strike 3. So the Dodgers are going to make a pitching change. With that strikeout, if you happen to live in the Los Angeles area, you can get a free jumbo jack tomorrow because that is 7 strikeouts to the Dodgers. And we'll go to our command center here and see who the next pitcher is going to be. I presume it's Jack Dreyer. So that's who was up in the bullpen getting warm. And it does look like Jack Dreyer. He's done a pretty solid job for the Dodgers. His whip is just a hair below 1. And his ERA, as you can see, is 2.98. Zoom in here for you. 52 strikeouts to 13 walks. And a record of 4-1. Little note about tomorrow. The early first pitch for the Dodgers at Wrigley Field. First pitch, I believe, is 11:40. And as always, you want to make sure you're ready to go by that first pitch because you know who is up first for the Dodgers. So Dreyer's pitched in 46 games. And of course, hoping he can get one out here, limit the damage and the inning, and hopefully the Dodgers can be explosive with their last 3 outs. He's facing the 9-hitter, who's 0 for 3 tonight. And that one swung on and missed. The count's 0-2. And that one's in the dirt. Amaya swings and misses. And that one also in the dirt, swung on and missed. And because it goes in the dirt, the catcher has to throw to first to ensure the strikeout remains. And he does so. So now we go to the top of the 9th. And the Dodgers facing a 4-run deficit, trying to make it up in an explosive way and avoid a 5-game losing streak. All right, so Andy Paja is set to come up, face Jacob Webb, who's pitched in 49 games this year and has an ERA of 2.59. 56 strikeouts to 17 walks. Tomorrow's game, we'll actually just look this up to confirm. First pitch will be at 11:20 a.m. Pacific time. We will be live before that. Pajes is 0 for 3 tonight. 18 home runs on the season. His average has slipped down to 2.68. And looks at the first pitch high for ball 1. And the next one in there for a strike. This one is hit deep to left center, and it's going to be caught by Crow Armstrong, who then runs into the hedge, but holds onto the ball. Nice play by him, and first out of the inning. Dodgers are down to their final two. So Freddie Freeman comes up. Freddie's 1 for 2 today. And his average still hanging around 310. First pitch in there for a strike. One is fouled off by Freddie. And he's in an early hole, 0-2. One swings a little bit late, and it's fouled off, and the count stays as it is. This one is grounded right over second base, and Swanson comes in, charging it. Does a nice job picking it up quickly, getting it out of his glove, and throwing to first in time for the second out of the inning. And now Max Muncy comes up with the Chicago Cubs fans on their feet, cheering for a victory that's going to give their team this series against the Dodgers with one remaining. Muncy's 0 for 2 tonight. This first one, he's way out in front of. Swings and misses for strike one. And that one is fouled back, and he's late on it. Counts 0-2. Muncy's batting .254 with 21 home runs on the season. And that one crushes him back just a little bit. Now the count is 1-2. And that one is fly high to left, but I don't think it's going to really be any trouble. And it is caught. And that'll be it from Wrigley Field. As you can see that the Dodgers only able to muster one run in this game thanks to the home run by Kyle Tucker in the second inning. And with some challenges on the defensive side, especially from the relief pitchers backing up Tarek Skubal, the Dodgers go down 5-1. We go to the bottom, we can see the pitchers that pitched, and I know the big profile, the big question is, how was Skubal going to do in his first pitching appearance for the Dodgers? And as you can see, thanks to our command center, he pitched 6 innings. Only gave up 4 hits. Now, one was a solo home run in the third inning. If we go to the top here, you can see it's right here at the bottom of the third inning. Chicago Cubs hit that solo home run. That was Swanson. But really, Skubal did a solid job tonight and has to unfortunately take the loss because as these other pitchers came in, other than Jack Dreyer, you can see that they struggled. Alex Vesia, gave up a couple of hits, 2 hits in only zero point 0.2 of an inning, not even half of an inning. He got the hook early. Then Evan Phillips gave up a hit, and Edwin Diaz gave up 2 hits. One of them is a home run. So very poor middle relief execution, as we've seen unfortunately too many times this year. Hoping that now, since Scooble's in the lineup, and the Dodgers do have a couple of pitchers that are getting healthy, coming back into the rotation soon, that'll help push one or two people into the middle relief situation to give Scooble and some of the best um, pitchers for the Dodgers a little bit of support after they hand the ball off, presumably going late into the game. And I think Scooble could have gone later, but with all the excitement and kind of the transition of getting traded a couple days ago and then literally coming straight from Sacramento, where he was with the Detroit Tigers, to the Dodgers bullpen, sorry, the Dodgers um, dugout in the middle of the game the other day. He didn't want to push him too much in his first outing. But really, the biggest story was the fact that the Dodgers were not able to produce enough at the plate. And that's despite the fact that, as you can see in our pregame command center, they rank in the top 5 of the top 10 in the league offensively. But it's all about bringing runners home in scoring position, which they were not able to do. So that's it for us from LA Press Box. And once again, tomorrow's game, first pitch is 11:20 a.m. in the morning. We'll be here for that and hope that the Dodgers can break what is now their longest losing streak of the season with 5 in a row. Have a great night, and thanks for joining.